Welcome to episode 9 of The Healing Truth with Dr. Cassandra Thomas. Today I want to use for a title, Quietness and Stillness are not the same thing. A quiet room can fool you into thinking you're at peace. The world around you may fall silent while your mind races, your heart aches, and your soul wrestle with things left unresolved. You see, quietness and stillness are not the same thing. One is the absence of noise. The other is the courage to be fully present with yourself. That distinction became clear to me through some of the most challenging seasons of my life. For most of my adult life, I stayed busy. I was a nurse, a physician, a business owner, a mother, a caretaker, a church worker, a community volunteer. And there was always somewhere to go, someone to help, something to fix, something to do, or a problem to solve. Then, little by little, life began slowing me down. First came house arrest, then prison. Later, there was caring for my mother, then job loss. And most recently, stepping back from a church community as I entered a different season of my spiritual journey. All different seasons, different circumstances, yet they shared a common thread. Life kept slowing me down until I was finally forced to listen. At first, I assumed that having more quiet time would naturally bring peace. That was not my experience. I had more quiet time than ever before, more than I had ever experienced in my life. But peace did not arrive immediately. In fact, during those first years, my mind felt louder than ever. To fill the hours and searching for understanding, I turned to reading, music, and reflection. I read books, letters, the Bible. In fact, I read the Bible cover to cover 3 times. Not saying I understood everything, but I read it. Yet even with all that time, I often struggled to focus. Retaining new information and remembering what I was learning felt difficult during that season. My thoughts refused to settle. Looking back now, I understand why. Stress does that. Fear does that. Uncertainty does that. Even when your body is sitting still, your mind can be running a marathon. As difficult as that period was, it also opened my eyes to things I had overlooked for years. For the first time in my life, I noticed the sky. Not because I had never seen the sky before, of course I had, but I had never truly paused long enough to appreciate how majestic and intrinsically designed by God the sky was. I had spent so many years focused on schedules, responsibilities, deadlines, and problems that I had forgotten to look up. I noticed the clouds, and I learned the different types of clouds. I noticed the beauty of sunsets and sunrises. I noticed how beautiful a clear day could be. Oh, yes, and I walked that track over and over again and again. Sometimes 3 miles, sometimes 5 miles, thinking, praying, wondering, healing. And somewhere along the way, those quiet conversations led me into a deeper realization. Stillness is not the absence of activity. Stillness is the willingness to stop running from yourself. Quietness is when the world around you becomes silent. But stillness is when you stop running from the conversations inside yourself. That is often where healing begins. Not every thought deserves our attention, but some thoughts are trying to tell us something. Some are pointing us toward unresolved grief and old wounds. Some are pointing us toward unanswered questions. And some are pointing us toward areas where God is still working on us. As I learned to sit with those truths, I discovered that healing rarely happens in isolation. That season brought unexpected blessings. 2 of my closest friends today came into my life during that time. One became a cherished friend whose friendship continues to bring joy, laughter, and encouragement. The other became a source of spiritual encouragement, intellectual growth, and meaningful conversations. Both reminded me that God often sends people into our lives in places we never expected to find them. They encouraged me. They challenged me. They walked alongside me. They reminded me that even during difficult seasons, God provides exactly what we need when we need it. With the benefit of hindsight, I can now see those experiences differently. You see, what felt like interruptions was actually preparation. What felt like punishment became a season of reflection. What felt like isolation became an opportunity to grow. And what felt like the end of one chapter was quietly preparing me for another chapter. Today, I understand something I did not understand then. That quietness and stillness are not the same thing. Stillness is where you stop numbing, hiding, or are outrunning the parts of ourselves that need attention. It is where truth rises to the surface. Healing takes root underneath, and God often does his deepest work. The journey is not always comfortable, but the healing it brings is real. Therefore, if life has been slowing you down, perhaps it is not punishment at all. Perhaps that stillness is inviting you to listen, to heal, and to become whole. Sometimes the greatest healing begins when we become still enough to hear what our soul has been trying to to say all along. This is The Healing Truth with Dr. Cassandra Thomas. And I am still learning, still healing, still growing, and still becoming. If this message spoke to you, please like, share, and comment. Thank you.